cut the crap.
It's Beaver Kool-Aid.
Beaver Kool-Aid.
John Lyle, L.A. Lloyd, and Drew Bennett.
Beaver Kool-Aid.
Three dudes talking about whatever the hell they want. It's narcissistic.
Check it out.
Remember, there's nothing wrong with being self-absorbed. It's Beaver Kool-Aid with Lyle, L.A. Lloyd, and Drew.
You remember in the 70s, the slime, the trash can of slime? It was a toy, and it was green slime. Do you guys remember that? And then they had some with worms in it, eyeballs, that kind of thing.
And you say, how come that guy lives there on top of the hill? What did he do? Well, he, the one with the slime in it. Yeah, that was it.
God, you know the guy that...
You can do that with a container of beef liver. You can do the exact same thing.
I interviewed a guy in prison once, and they call him Fifis.
Fifis? And what's the Fifi?
Well, a Fifi in prison is, he said, was, like a balloon, anything that's kind of like that with a little bit of Vaseline in it. But they end up rolling it into some sort of roll, with a towel and duct tape.
And that's a Fifi, huh?
It's a Fifi.
Wow.
Well, we're pretty excited that we've got a guest today on Beaver Kool-Aid. Unbelievable.
He's not.
I'm out of here. See you guys later.
Yeah.
John Moyer from Disturbed is here with us, and of course he's been on your show before, Lyle.
Yeah. I spent most of the time talking about me playing Dr. Hook, but still, nonetheless, yeah, he was. He's a good guy.
Oh, you remember? That's right. I'm from Disturbed, but you guys are disturbed.
Where is the gong when we need it, Lyle?
Yeah. Well, because we're on location here. We're at Lloyd's house. We're at Casa de Lloyd here in South Austin, and it's pretty wild. Came up here just to do the show, and then we have our guest, John Moyer. Real rock and roll guy.
Hey, John.
And, of course, Drew Bennett over there, who sings big band stuff.
Yeah.
So we got, I hope you guys can just, agree to disagree, kind of lay down all your jealousies and all this other crap, and just get along here for an afternoon. I know I know the business is very competitive, but hopefully you guys can.
Hey, we got to stop just for a second. Look above John's head right there, Drew. Hey, can you look at that? Do you see the kiss up there?
Destroyer record,
look
I see
at that.
What am I looking at?
We're looking at, Drew is a huge Kiss fan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I got some.
Let's see that back there. Give us a little a tour back there at the wall.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got it mixed in between some of my own personal stuff. So I've got the Disturbed Asylum gold record.
Yeah.
And then I got some 10,000 Fists, our album flat, Union Underground.
Wow.
San Antonio's own Union Underground, which I was in back in the day. And then right next to it, there's the Kiss, Destroyer. I don't know if you see above there, I got Black Sabbath, Paranoid, Judas Priest. Those are the albums that are mounted. AC/DC, Back in Black, Def Leppard, Pyromania, Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz. And then one of my favorites, I don't know if you see that up there, but that's Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison Blues.
Oh,
very nice. Very nice.
See,
and
I
Van Halen.
I have my glasses on. I thought the Kiss Destroyer album was the soundtrack to The Wizard of Oz.
I can't believe you saw that. Most of those I bought at a garage sale for $1 each.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, very nice.
I'm talking about the Asylum, the Disturbed Gold records. I bought those at a garage sale for $1 each.
Yeah, I was starting to say don't sell this for $1, man.
Okay. I was really surprised also not to see Out of the Cellar up there. But, we all have our different tastes and stuff, man. It's all right. Kind of nice, but.
Well, the last show we had, we kind of we started talking about the state of rock, and it's kind of cool that we've got John from a band who has definitely been very instrumental in the past decade, and and the great thing about John is he's kind of doing something here in the Austin San Antonio area where he bought a school for music, kind of like school of rock, if you will, where kids are. It's called Natural Ear Music. So John, tell us. What you're doing about trying to change the state of rock, man.
Well, when you think about it, it all comes down to the future. And, everyone can try to dictate what they think is going to happen, how records are going to be sold and how it's going to happen. But how it's going to happen is it's going to come from musicians. You can't have music without musicians. And unless kids are getting into music, then there really is no future for rock, for guitar, for drums, for vocals, and all that. And that's what my school does. We teach kids how to rock. I've been teaching at the school now for over 12 years. I took it over this past year. This was my first semester running the school. We had a great semester that we had, and we had a big. At the end of every semester or session, there's always a gig. So this semester we had 2 gigs. Both gigs we had, hundreds of parents there watching their kids rock out to songs that we taught them how to play. And now we have our summer camp program happening. And our summer camp program, I'm actually extending it to San Antonio. So Austin's been a successful program for the last 20 years with natural ear music. But I think San Antonio is sort of a little uncharted for music schools. Yeah. And there's a lot of talent there. There really is. And so I'm running it out of Bandera Road City Church. And I'm getting tons of signups, mostly teenagers. It's real interesting. In the Austin market, we get a lot of, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds. But in San Antonio, I'm having a lot of teenagers sign up. Wow. Parents of kids who just like, look, my kid's talented. He plays well, but he wants to be in a band, and he wants to have that band experience. And so that's the way I learned how to play, and that's the way we teach kids how to play.
At BRCC, and on
That's
Bandera
right.
Road, the church that rocks.
The church that rocks. That's why I brought it there, man. They've been so cool. I really love it there.
Wow.
So Pastor Dave and everybody at BRCC. So
I love
let me ask you, John, you said that at the end of this, it culminates in a gig. I mean, how many gazendas? Like, is it 5 pieces on stage? Is it 3 pieces on stage? Are there 35 kids on stage? Do you have do you have multiple gigs at the end?
It's one gig, and the kids are grouped into bands according to age and skill level and things of that nature. So, for example, our end of semester gig that we did here in Austin, we had how many kids signed up? 23 kids, and we had 5 groups. Some of the groups were four people in the group. Some of them have 5, and one of my groups has 6 people. So it just depends on how it gets put together, the musical interests involved, and so. But it's a band.
Okay. Could I be in like Linda McCartney though, and like just play a tambourine or a wood block? I was always pretty good with a wood or a cowbell, wood block. In other words, do I have to play guitar?
That's
bass,
about as
drums?
good as she was about as good as that, Lloyd. Way to go.
Can I bring my zither? Can I, if I want to hit there and play recorder along with a band, could I do that?
It's, have you ever seen a recorder in a band environment, in a rock band?
I think there's room for everything.
We can incorporate lots of different things, but we really try to focus on the rock instruments: guitar, bass, drums, vocals.
Your traditional rock instruments.
That's right. And although at the last gig that we had, one of the kids played saxophone, and so we taught to the song Tequila, and so he played that on the saxophone. Okay. So we definitely try to make it work to where the kids, it's their band, and their talents are what make the band gives its character and its energy and the songs that we pick for them. If you're a beginner, now I'm the bass player for Disturbed, right?
Yeah.
So when beginners come in, and when parents call me and they go, well, my son's a beginner, he can't play guitar or drums, what can he do? I go, don't worry, he can play bass.
That used to always be the way into the band if you couldn't play anything, was to pick
that's
up
how
the
I did
guitar.
It. No, that's how I did it. No, really, you'd be surprised. A lot of people come in that can't play, but they can sing.
Yeah.
And I'll just get them on vocals, or or even teach them a few chords on guitar. Or it's surprising, especially our summer camp. It's 2 weeks long. You learn a lot in 2 weeks. I have kids that come in that can't do anything, and at the end of 2 weeks, they're playing an instrument and singing on stage.
Well, do you have to provide your own lunch, or can you? Do you do the lunch? Is it that long? Is it a whole day thing, or do you have to bring your own?
It's a 4-hour session. We do take lunch in the middle. They bring their own lunch. I'm not providing any catering at this point yet. And
see, I'm just saying this because Drew has a food trailer and does Japanese pizza.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that right?
And you could maybe hook up something with Drew. He could cater your. We're all looking for business opportunities here. That's the reason why we're all hanging out in Casa de Lloyd.
Yeah.
I'll bring free pizzas.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll pay you for pizzas. Just bring them on. Just come with your food trailer to BRCC at 1 p.m. And then that's when we take lunch. And I'll get a line at your food trailer buying food.
He would probably be more suited to go over to Natural Ear here in Austin.
Yeah.
He's based in Austin.
Oh, okay. That works too. That
Yeah.
works too.
Yeah, I'll just bring a big box of chicken and charge them per piece
Yeah.
because I can handle the San Antonio thing.
Yeah.
Quick
Yeah.
trip to KFC.
Yeah.
We
So
do a
what-
combination. They can bring sack lunches, or we order for the kids.
So
And,
what do you? I think it's great. I always think it's great when they're adult men that want to like mess with my children and help them. I mean, in a good way. Not like that guy across the street who's got the sign in his yard. Not that guy, but I mean,
it's funny you mentioned that because this camp, I usually teach just teenagers. That's kind of my specialty. I like the kids; they're a little more advanced. But I have most of my teachers are really good at teaching the beginners, and they've been doing it for a long time. And so, really, a lot of the beginners, I don't teach. I come in, I make my appearance, I talk to the younger kids, and then I have a great staff that males and females. I actually have mostly women that teach the younger kids, and then as they get older, I've got the male teachers that teach, and all of my teachers are professional musicians in town that know what they're doing and that also teach.
We thought that maybe you turned over the beginners to the guys in Nickelback there to take care of the beginners because
Oh, wait a minute. Whoa. Got to watch out. Lloyd, this is, you're crapping when you eat, pal. I mean, with our last show, you talked about being such a big Nickelback groupie.
yeah. See, I had to defend Nickelback the entire last show, so I figured I'd get one little rib in there. I love those guys. I'm just
I did too. I think they
being
write
silly.
great songs.
Yeah.
They write great songs.
See?
No, just kidding. Great songs.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, was he kidding?
Yeah, we don't know if he's kidding or not,
We
but
don't
that's
know.
all right.
We don't know.
No, well, I joke. I know those guys, so I'm not going to say anything. But
Has Disturbed and Nickelback ever toured together? That would be a weird tour, man.
I've not done a show with no, but we did do a show with the Pussycat Dolls once in Iraq. That was
Wow.
interesting.
Okay. The
And
Pussycat
Britney
Dolls
Spears.
Disturbed. Dolls Disturbed and the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. That was because it's like that when you put together these military shows. You
It is.
got to throw something else in there.
I don't know.
They just throw.
I don't know who said it, but somebody said, you can play a Nickelback record backwards and you'll hear messages from Satan. But what's worse is if you play it forwards, you'll hear Nickelback.
See, there it is again.
Yeah, there you need the gong.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's good.
I don't know why we had to get off on a Nickelback slam. I just made one little joke, and now everybody's back on the Nickelback slam.
Hey, you know what? It's easy. It's easy to make fun of the one of the biggest bands in the world. You know what? When you're on top, everybody wants to knock you down.
I
so,
guess so.
I do.
they're successful for a reason,
Well,
and
whenever
they
I'm
are.
on top, all I
wanna
hear is
knock
"Get
you
off
down."
me! I can't breathe." That's what I hear. By the way, Lloyd, sorry to, I know you're on there with the rock star and all, but I need to use your bathroom.
No, yeah, we'll see. I figured somebody was going to take a shit in my bathroom before they left today because it's a common thing. We had a garage sale a while back, and a guy who asked to use my restroom came in and took a shit here. So that
Oh my
was
gosh!
so now you guys can
someone's
finally
house
see
this
the.
video.
I was hoping that Drew and I would frequently tag team here and just kind of one after the other, just keep.
Yeah. Just keep dumping in your bathroom.
like World Wrestling.
And then
man.
I'll let you know the blue water ran out.
Yeah.
This is great.
I
This
think
is
that
great.
guy
This is the
said
kind of talk that
DVDs.
parents of my kids that come to my school want to hear. This is great promotion for Natural Ear Music. Thanks for bringing me on here, Lloyd. I can't
Yeah,
thank
Sure,
you
man.
enough.
You want me to mentor your teachers or especially the ones that
The
teach
blonde
the young
ones?
kids?
They teach the young ones, yeah, would you?
Yeah. I have absolutely no problem doing that. But I think that's great that you got the school going. You doing some? You playing anything else? You doing? You got a?
I got my
project
band, my
going?
new, Disturbed's on break, and so I'm in a new band called Adrenaline Mob with Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater, Russell Allen from Symphony X, and this amazing guitar player named Mike Orlando. The record's been out for about 2 or 3 months now, and we actually go to Europe for the month of June. So actually, my wife is going to be running the summer camp here in Austin.
Nice.
And I have another guy who's going to be running the summer camp in San Antonio. I'm going to be there at both camps for the first couple days, and then I have to actually go do my kind of work, which is playing in a band.
Hey, how did you manage to get in a side band that got to tour Europe? I mean, I figured you guys would be doing maybe, Waco or Temple, but how the hell do you get in a side project and you're already in Europe, man? How did you pull that off?
Well, It's me and Mike Portnoy. There's a little bit of heat behind it, you know.
Let me see. You did something that Lyle's never done, which is networking. I guess that's how it works.
Yeah, that must be it. You know,
the start,
networking, knowing people, having friends.
Hey, you know what? I just want to say, before we move on too further, I just want to say about the music program. You know, in Austin, I know that a lot of the music programs, they got rid of them.
Yeah.
Last year, right? And a lot of the music teachers were fired, you know, from AISD, and even up into Georgetown and some of the other surrounding areas. And they really have started, because of, you know, the way they handle education in Texas, they've really started to consolidate a lot of the staff, you know, at some of the schools. And music and arts are the first to go, right?
Always.
So I think it is really commendable that you do a music program, you know, for kids who might not find that in school. You know, we were talking about, you know, if you don't catch them early and educate them early, or find their interest in music early, they may never have it. So I think that's a really noble thing that you do.
Thanks. I love it. I've taught for years, and
that's the goal.
I just had an opportunity to take over the school and make it mine, and I wanted to do that. And it's been nice, and it's really grown, and we're getting lots of attention. It's funny because I'm now getting calls from schools that want to incorporate my rock program into what they're doing.
Wow. Well, go ahead and get all the info out there for people who are watching and listening to this, so they can get in contact with you.
All right.
We're ready.
I was just thinking, I'm thinking of the parents that are listening to this, to listen to all this trash talk, and then they're like, okay, I'm going to send my son to that school. It's a clean environment at the school. We, the San Antonio one, we do it at church. The one in Austin, we do it at a really nice rehearsal facility, a music lab rehearsal facilities on Old Torf, which they have like a cafe inside and a music store.
That's a cool place.
So it's naturalearmusic.com, naturalearmusic.com. All the information's on the website, how to get in touch with us, what the camp sessions are, what lessons are, and then, there's a little questionnaire to email me to get information on the prices and availability.
All right. Well, John, once again, I'm not the one that dropped the S-bomb. That was Lloyd. All I merely said is I need to use your restroom.
I have made zero dick jokes since I've been
that's
here.
all I said. I need to take a bathroom break.
Hey,
that's all I said. And then,
Hey, man, I'm just kidding. It's all fun.
Just have fun. Just take it easy on the blue water.
Look, Pastor Dave knows me, man. He knows you, and I was the one who went to BRCC when I lived in San Antonio. So that's what it's all about. It's forgiving me for saying the shit today.
I don't have to apologize to you. It's y'all's show.
It's pretty crass. That's all. It's and going back to what Drew said about kids who otherwise wouldn't have any kind of music program, because that's always what they do. They cut back on the art teachers, the music teachers, and that always brought a tear to my eye, Drew.
Yeah, because it's really
nice. I mean, it was nice
that I know what an isosceles triangle is for my future. It's really important.
You put a kid in front of an auto harp for the first time, and if you're just quiet and kind of leave the room, you would not believe the sounds that he starts to strum on that thing. I mean, they come out of that auto harp. It is absolutely unbelievable.
Now, John, let me ask you a question. For the vocals, you don't teach them how to use auto-tune or anything like that on their vocals, because we want to start them really singing, man.
Yeah, let's have them sing for real.
And drummers, we don't want them, playing to a click track or anything. We want them to do the real thing, right?
It's funny you mention that, because one of the other things that I've been doing lately, I've been producing bands, and I've had a real busy month. The 2 months ago, I flew to Newark to produce a band up there, like a Christian rock band, and then I had a metal band that I flew to LA to produce for Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, and then I was in northern New Mexico working on stuff for a soundtrack company, and when I was working with bands, I was real adamant about catching real performances. Yeah. When I started my first band, Soak, I remember everything being so edited and quantized and stiff, because that's the way it was. That was the 90s, and you were trying to get that type of production. But now that we're there, people miss performanas, and I'm all about performances. Right. And so my whole production style now is I try not to auto-tune at all. As far as click tracks are concerned, it's just a loose guide. And when I take the drums, I take a real drum performance. I don't chop up the drums. Right. I don't chop up the guitars or the bass or anything. I'm like, look, you missed a note right there. I'm not going to fly it in from someplace else in the track you're going to have to play that part.
I
And
like
that's,
that. One mic and a 2-track recorder.
Yeah.
See, that's what I like. That's it. Okay, ready, go.
I think the era of a performance, we've lost that, and I think honestly that's the new direction of music, because you can hear the difference between a performance has vibe and then the sort of the sterility that we had of the 90s. That was all that industrial stuff. It was cool at the time, but it didn't age well, honestly.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff you look back on, you're like, I don't want to hear it because there's no
fatiguing. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, now
as
you
opposed
say
to
it was
listening to
cool at
Janis
the time.
Joplin.
I never thought it was cool at the time.
Well, Nine Inch Nails
You
and
don't like any of that Nine Inch Nails stuff? You don't like any of that?
Stabbing Westward. They were pretty cool in their time.
Stabbing Westward, that guy's first album was all about his girlfriend. I'll never forget that.
That kind of stuff just gives me a headache.
Now, do you ever talk to any of the guys from Union Underground anymore, John?
Yeah, of course. In fact, Josh Memolo is the one who turned me on to Bandera Road City Church.
Okay, nice.
And he was a drummer for Union Underground.
Yeah.
And he still plays in bands in San Antonio. Patrick is out in L.A. He plays in a band called Heaven Below.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that Disturbed was centrally located in Central Texas.
Well,
You'd be surprised, huh? We're actually based out of Chicago, but I've always lived in Austin, and then now David Draymond, the singer for Disturbed, also lives down here.
Mm-hmm. Hey, now you're a good person too. We talked about how so many bands that were sounding a lot alike, right now, and the reason for that is literally, I kind of brought up two producers, one being Johnny Kaye and the other being Howard Benson. Now, you guys in Disturbed work with Johnny Kaye. I mean, how does that, as a teacher, not only teaching music, but when you get into the recording studio, I mean, does that come to play when you've really got two main producers that's producing everybody out there right now?
Is that kind of what's happening with Johnny Kaye? He's kind of like the big guy.
We were talking about how there's such a similarity of sound,
right? And
that's what he's saying, is because so many acts are produced by a couple of people, you end up having this similarity of sound.
That's why I think active rock radio, so many bands start sounding the same because they're all working with the same producers. Now you guys kind of put Johnny Kaye on the map, or maybe vice versa. I don't know, but anyway, he's definitely doing a lot of bands these days besides Disturbed.
He is. I think, knowing Johnny Kaye, Johnny Kaye actually is one of the few producers that actually makes a band sound like that band.
Yeah.
He doesn't. When I hear some of his productions, I don't hear that. Like, it doesn't sound like a Disturbed production to me.
Right.
It sounds like whatever that band, because he did the Three Doors Down, one of their last two records, I think.
Yeah.
And it sounds, sonically, it sounds nothing like a Disturbed record.
No.
And I think Johnny Kaye is actually really good at making a band sound like a band. Howard Benson, on the other hand, in my opinion, I hear Howard Benson's production style, which that's why a lot of people like him, because they want to have that Howard Benson sheen to their project. And so, personally, I come from the world of more of the Johnny Kaye, where you're trying to capture the best sound of a band and make them find their own identity, as opposed to putting them through your machine to make them sound. And that's just how it is. Some producers, you go through their machine, and other producers, they go through your machine. So
you haven't heard the latest vocal stylings of Brad from Three Doors Down, though, man? He's doing a little bit of this. How's it go? How's it go, Drew?
Yeah, but I was doing it really. But the one that I do with my wife is.
Where's this going?
The one that I do with my wife is Godsmack.
Yeah.
You were crying like a bitch. That's her favorite. That's her favorite one.
I know she loves it. Who doesn't?
She loves it when I
think
say it.
that you guys are talking about the similarity of bands. I think that some producers do that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you get there for a while. It's kind of like the acoustic intro to a song before everything kicks in. How many songs did you hear like that? They'd start off a certain way and everything would kick in. You go, good God. I mean, do we have to start every song like this?
Yeah.
Is that true? I mean, I just heard so many songs that would start like that. I just couldn't really figure it out. Why not just go ahead and blast it out?
Where do you think it's going now, man? Where do you think things are heading musically, sonically for everybody?
Stylistically, or
I think where do you think popular music's going for rock? And I can tell you this year, a lot of the industry guys have been talking about how rock radio's dead. A lot of the consultants have been saying those kinds of things. Where do you think it's heading, style-wise, for rock music generally?
I think if it's going to emerge and rebound, it's going to have to come from just really good musicians performing. And that goes back to my production style. I think that we're going to have to start hearing amazing performances from unique performers for people to start listening again and going, oh, wow, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I think that's that's one reason why I quit watching any kind of live performances, because I always thought they were boring. There was a difference between being a player and being a showman and really putting on a concert instead of, well, we're just going to go up there and kind of play our crap and it's going to sound the same and here we are. And I don't know, it just seemed to be too vanilla, too generic. It just, it kind of lost the vibe for me. I mean, I always wanted to go in, and you don't have to be on that level, but, like if you go to a Springsteen show and you're seeing, you're dead when you get done with it. I mean, it's exhausting.
So are we riding that wave now? I mean, are we riding this wave of a style of music until we get some sort of Kurt Cobain thing happening? I mean,
I don't think so. I think it's going to be quite the opposite. I think it's going to be like what happened in 2000, where you're going to have a lot of different bands all of a sudden coming to the table with different sounds.
Okay, so it's not
if you recall, back then you had Linkin Park, Disturbed, Mudvayne. Ozzy was making a comeback. There was so much going on in rock and metal in 2000, and all the bands sounded different, and they all had their own personality. That's what has to happen. It can't just be one guy, one moment, like what happened with Kurt Cobain.
You're right,
it has to be
one moment.
Quite a bit of variety in rock back there in 2000, and they kind of went one direction.
Exactly.
Nickel.
So that's what has to happen. Just originality and real performances, originality. And that's the only thing that can save rock and roll.
You got your feet around my ankles.
Speaking of that, check out my new band, Adrenaline Mob. Great performers in that band.
Your wrists. Adrenaline Mob.
Well, man, thanks for coming on the show today. And again, we'll definitely flash the website on the YouTube video here. And best of luck to you, man. And come on anytime.
Thanks for letting me come in and plug my different projects. And as always, Lloyd, it's a pleasure talking to you. What's funny is I could probably, in the time it took us to do this conversation, I just could have walked over to your house and had a conversation. We live right.
I was going to say,
in the same neighborhood.
Well, this is the first time I've ever had anybody else in the studio except you, man. Because you came over here and did an interview for my Rock Countdown a while back. But this is the first time that Lyle and Drew have ever been in the same room ever. This is the first time ever these guys have ever.
And we've done like 12 shows.
Yeah, they've done like 12 shows together, but they've never been in the same room. So. Next time.
So there's a lot of sexual tension.
So that's why I got kicked out, because those two haven't been together.
So next time we'll have you in the room here as well. We got cameras all over the place. This is scary.
What is Moyer just hop on a skateboard and
just get on one of those scooters and right down the street here, man. But
over here, or just a unicycle.
We were just testing you out because we wanted to see if we could get a guest on Skype while all three of us were together. So we're testing the waters with you, John.
I think the music school would be a cool link, as a good sponsor link that we could just put on the website. Do you have any kind of graphics or stuff or something?
I don't know if they want to be affiliated with our content.
You know what? Never mind.
John's like, I don't want to.
Hey, did you see the look on his face when I said it? He was like, what?
No, I got parents, man.
Thanks for recounting all the things you're involved in. So for those of us who are unemployed, we can really feel like even bigger losers. Appreciate that, man.
He's a man of the world, and we're three guys sitting here.
Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for your beer.
I got you. It's a weird world being a musician nowadays. You can't just be in one band and expect that to work. And I talk to a lot of musicians like this. You have to do several different projects and stay busy and keep moving.
That's great.
But I'm fine with it. I love it because I get to meet great people and I keep working with different artists and kids, and the whole realm of what I do is just all wrapped up into music, and there's no limits for me as far as what I'm trying to do, and a lot of what I do is not about me getting my music out. It's about me helping other people get their music out.
Cool. Well, what do you say to somebody like that, who's a young kid who maybe opened up a Kiss record or a Disturbed record and had that kind of experience that you had when you were a kid. They got you playing a guitar or a bass, and what do you say to somebody who has the stars in their eyes? How do you get it across that it's work now?
It's a job.
That's it exactly. No one's going to hand it to you. If you want it, you have to earn it. You got to take it, and you got to make people notice you, and you have to do it every day, and you have to live it. You can't just have a hit and then be a fool the rest of your life, because no one's going to want to work with you. You've got to be the guy that people can count on. Isn't that funny? There's no rebellion in rock and roll anymore. You know, it's almost the opposite. You've got to be
Discipline and
somebody
that
that
kind of
people can count on and be able to deliver over and over to be able to have a career in the industry. So you really, you know, right now there's a lot of great players and musicians out there that are still hacking away that are making it happen.
I'm looking forward to doing American death metal in Stockholm. And
It would go over great there.
And you might want to do it. Yeah. You might do some Christian death metal.
Yeah.
They're in Gothenburg. Gothenburg's is like the heavy metal capital of Europe.
Yeah. So, you know,
Just like
that's
San Antonio is the heavy metal capital of the U.S. as far as I'm concerned.
It's the Black Concert T-shirt capital of the world.
Yeah.
I love it. My people.
One
people.
world.
All wearing Spurs shirts now.
Okay, man. Well, all right.
Thanks a lot, John. Best of luck to
John.
you, man, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Thanks, man.
All right,
John Moyer.
Yeah, the intimate. That's very good. All right.
I will go to your party and I will tear it up.
Beaver Kool-Aid
Make it like a man. Get it hard.
with Lyle, L.A. Lloyd, and Drew. So go ahead, stick your head up your ass.